You already know the drill. We back again with another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And strap on your seatbelts, cause it's all pedal to the metal from here. And without further ado, your amazing host, Drew Billy.
Welcome back to another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys, here with your host, Drew Billy, Nate Stice, and Trevor Dinsmore. How are we doing tonight, boys?
Doing great, man. Super Bowl week. Glad to be back for another episode to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, a lot of shit.
Doing good, buddy. Coming off a little weekend trip in Punta Cana. Had a nice little time there. Hopefully some of y'all saw my photos. And I came back in theme for the Super Bowl. I came back red, as in sunburnt. But, you know, I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. So here I am.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure to be back in front of all you beautiful people. We got a lot of news to touch on with the Super Bowl week. Nate and Trevor have some other sports news as well. But boys, 49ers arrived to the facilities out there in Las Vegas. Beautiful Las Vegas. You got lights, you got casinos, you got all types of shit. They try to practice on the field. Their equipment staff and grounds team says, no. The field's not ready. UNLV provided the field for them to practice on. It's not up to standard. I don't think I can think back here that we've had a situation that a practice field was not prepared for a Super Bowl playing team. What the hell do you think's going on here with that?
I don't know. It's tough to grow vegetation in the middle of the desert, last I checked. So maybe that it's in Las Vegas has a slight impact on that, but I don't know. Like, just, and for years this thing was coming. Like, just somebody figure something out, right? Like,
right.
And also, I'm sorry, but like, it's a practice field. Like, you guys aren't doing anything that difficult. Like, you're pretty much doing walk-arounds for a couple weeks, hanging out, game planning, stretching, lifting, two-hand touch. Like, don't do anything stupid anyway. Like, I don't know. I understand that it should be up to snuff because it's the NFL, but like, come on. It's not should be that big of a deal, right? I don't understand. Like, I think that it's too big of a deal for the players and not enough big of a deal for those getting it ready. So it's just weird. And and another story they're grabbing onto because you need something to talk about to get ready for the game.
Yeah.
It having the Pro Bowl in there for a week is the dumbest thing ever. And they should just finish the stinking thing out in a row and then do the Pro Bowl in a couple weeks after. I don't know. I hate the Pro Bowl in the middle of the playoff stretch. I think it's ridiculous personally.
Right.
Can't say I disagree with that last point there, Nate, but it's been a heck of a week for news surrounding the Super Bowl, huh? I mean, Patrick Mahomes' dad, what was it, third DUI? I mean, good Lord, what's going on with that family? You know how erratic Brittany is, and Jackson, whatever he's been up to lately. Hopefully, staying out of legal trouble and staying away from cocktail waitresses. But add this field, add the messiness of the field onto that, and the fact that apparently now Kansas City is going to be housed in the UNLV locker room in Allegiant Stadium. Basically, I guess the Raiders, said a big old F you to the Chiefs and said, hey, you're getting stuck in this collegiate locker room that's not up to pro standards, obviously not nearly as big or has the amenities as the pro locker rooms. But I don't know, man. It's becoming a recurring thing, too, discussions of the field. Like, I feel like we would have had this conversation, what was it, a year or two ago in Arizona when – the groundskeeper who'd been working for, I don't know, about 90, what seemed like 90 years and never had a bad field. And then all of a sudden he has a bad field. Comes Super Bowl time. I don't know. It's becoming a recurring story. Is it being blown a little bit out of proportion? Yeah, maybe. But like you said, Nate, you don't know how it affects these players.
Yeah.
None of us will ever know how it affects these players. And for a lot of these players, it's the most important game of your life. You want to have everything perfect. And I know athletes, I'm not an athlete myself, but I know a lot of athletes, and I know a lot of them are creatures of habit. They're used to the same conditions. They're used to doing the same thing day after day after day in order to prepare for games. And if those conditions are a little bit off, some of them get a little erratic and some of them start to blow some stuff up. Don't blame them here. Don't blame them. You can't have a soggy practice field. That's just the way it is. You got to be able to prepare adequately for the biggest game of your lives. And to echo what you said, Nate, don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid, especially during practice. You don't want Kittle tweaking an ACL or something like that. You don't want anything to go down before this that's in your control. Unfortunately, the field conditions out of their control. And like we were talking right before the show, Drew, I didn't even know that until about 5 minutes ago.
Well, this is what I do at 3 o'clock in the morning. Just look up stupid shit and find it.
No, right after you get off a PlayStation, you look up the stupid stuff. Yeah.
Right. No, but
that's fair. That's fair. A lot of weird
stuff
stuff surrounding this game right now.
They've went so far, boys, to bring in. I don't know what the title of this guy would be. I don't know if the NFL hires these guys, but they measured the amount. 50 grams of natural grass was what the UNLV has on the field, and 49ers preference and preferred when talking to the groundskeeper, they wanted 70 grams. So we're talking about a 20. I'm not very good at math, but I know that's 20 difference right there that they're concerned about.
It's a good percentage difference, yeah.
I mean, Trevor and me are the analytic schematic guys of Madden. If my field's off 20 grams, I'm going to be a little pissed. So I understand the frustration coming from. This is what we're grabbing at straws here for people to provide you with some good shit. But anyways, other things here. So yeah, the 49ers will have other options. They have not been laid out yet, but the Las Vegas Raiders practice field, and they'll be able to use their facility. I don't know if that was open to the Chiefs, though, with the whole locker room situation. I don't know if that's going to be worked out with them. So the 49ers, if you're looking to
take a wild guess, Drew. Take a wild guess. Are the Raiders going to allow the Chiefs to have any sort of meticulous advantage before the game? Probably not.
Right.
No.
So just off of that, I might go 49ers, but we'll do our pick'ems later on here. But other news, Trevor alluded it at the beginning of the show. Patrick Mahomes Sr. will not be at attendance during the Super Bowl to watch his son potentially win his third Super Bowl. He will be in a county jail for 40 days after getting his third DUI. Boys, he's celebrating before the game even started. What the hell's going on there? Like Trevor alluded to it. What the? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's a shame. Just hopefully, Patrick Mahomes Sr. can figure things out in his life, and hopefully this is the wake-up call that does it for him. It's unfortunate it's happened, several times, but hopefully this is the one that changes his life back around for the best. So, unfortunately, a distraction for his son. You almost kind of feel sorry for his son in some regards with some of the things that happen around him. And, I understand he had a very bad outburst this year, and, sure, that was kind of ridiculous, but Patrick is about as steady of an athlete as there ever been. So, you got to give him credit. He just zones everything out the best he can, and he keeps on playing at a high level no matter what is happening around him and what, some of his family and friends might have going on. So I give him credit in that regard. But, yeah, hopefully Patrick Mahomes Sr. can figure things out and get back on track with his life. So hopefully he learns his lesson from this.
Really not much to add on to it. He got 3 DUIs now under his belt. He's better consider himself lucky he didn't, hurt anybody, that he didn't hurt himself, and that he's only spending 40 days in a county jail, as far as I'm concerned. Because I've had relatives that have had run-ins with DUIs and have been in a lot worse circumstances. So I do feel for him. I feel for I feel for Patrick dealing with all this crap right before, again, one of the biggest games of his life. All you can do is pray for the best. It's ultimately out of our control what Patrick Mahomes Sr. does in his day-to-day life, and the demons that he chooses to let control his life. So just got to pray for the better and pray that, he continues down a good path. And yeah. And again, be thankful that, no one got hurt in the situation. He just got arrested. So.
Right. No, and then just going on to, it's not anything to do with the Super Bowl, but I think everybody's wondering what the hell was that drone in the Ravens Chiefs game? That guy actually got caught, and he's also dealing with some shit too. I didn't realize that you get hit with some hefty shit flying a drone near a baseball or football stadium.
Yep.
And it also happens he's from our home state, boys, Pennsylvania. I just wanted to see the game up close and personal. I don't see anything.
I guess, man. If you want to see the game up close and personal, watch it from home. The camera angles are better than any angle you might get with a drone, unless you're really, really skilled at it. But again, you're flying it in an area where there are about 10,000 cameras pointing right at the field in the direction that you have the drone pointed.
Right.
Be smart, for Christ's sake. Be smart. And I don't know what exactly the penalties are, but I know it's probably up there with like streaking on the field. I mean, granted, you probably get a little bit more for that, but be smart.
He got hit with 3 felonies.
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah.
3 felonies.
Yeah, they're big. They're big deal because there's a lot of like security protection around. There's broadcasting rights. There's safety protection things. You have to have a license to fly it. There's quiet hours around. Like there's a lot of laws surrounding them, and obviously they differ state by state too. But then there's also federal regulations around drones as well. But to your guys' point, the best seat in the house is on the field. The second best seat in the house is not in the house. It's in your house. So that's the I don't like if you really wanted to watch it, buy a ticket or just stay home in PA, buddy. Like unless the Steelers send him to spy for next year, but it's or the Eagles. But it's a little early for that, and their team's gonna look a little different next year, considering their defensive coordinator left. You got contracts, you got the draft, all kinds of factors to play into that. So, yeah, just a weird situation. He might face some decent jail time for this act, which is just dumb. Like I don't know how you don't know that. These drones have been around for enough time to warrant knowing that stuff for sure.
So Drew, this guy was outside the stadium and he flew a drone in. That's what happened.
So he was from a neighboring. He was in. I don't really know what the hell happened here. Hold on here. They fought. So Maryland state troopers followed the unidentified, unapproved drone to a nearby neighborhood where it landed, and they found the guy. Good old Tommy over there with a bunch of guys around a grill and a little kegger going on there, and he gets caught. Hey, he got me. He tries to throw the remote control. He's like, shit, it's troopers. What a day. How do you explain that? The wife's out with the kids, and you're at a little bro time action, and she comes to find out you took your son's drone and you flew it over in M&T Stadium. What the I
don't know how you explain that one. That's a hell of a story, but he's gonna have hella legal troubles. So
I hope it was worth it.
Yeah,
worth it.
That's why you got to think sometime. But anyways, here, boys, we've seen a lot of coaches over the years, though, in press conferences. Mike Tomlin has got shots taken at him. Sean Payton, Pete Carroll. Now Andy Reid. The week of the Super Bowl, they're asking him if he's going to retire. Is that appropriate at all? I don't see how that's even. Why are we even asking that the week of the Super Bowl? What do you boys think on that? I don't think he's going to retire, but
yeah. I think it's inappropriate, but they get paid a lot of money to ask these questions, and the people above them spoon feed them the questions to ask. So, of course, if you're going to have to ask the questions, there's been rumors surrounding it this year, especially, but in past years. I mean, he's coached consecutively for years and years and years. Been around the game a long time, but yeah, I think it's inappropriate. He's got a huge game coming up.
All right.
He's got a team to get prepared. but that doesn't drive, morale obviously doesn't drive the media. Unfortunately, dollars does,
Right.
and clout. So that's what they're chasing. And if they get Andy Reid to to slip up, and that reporter, did that, or that executive fed that, they're going to get bonuses, and they're going to get the best story, and they're going to get all the clicks, and so much fun around it. So they're going to do their due diligence to make as much money for themselves and their businessmen around them and their platform as they possibly can. And I understand the game, I do, but I personally think it's wrong. I think they should be focusing on lighthearted things and the game. Lighthearted things, fine. If you want to talk about your story and getting there, totally cool with it. If you want to talk about, an experience that you may have had with a coach, like maybe some local, TV station sends people and they cover their college experience,
Yep.
in relation to them, and they get a couple things out of them 10 days before the Super Bowl, fine, no big deal. But to ask him about his career, like 6 days before one of the biggest games of his life, it's just flat out ignorant to me. I don't like that part of it, but I understand the game that is, being a part of the media. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well said, Nate. I don't have much to tack on to that, other than just kind of echo. Seems like there's very little ethics and morals in the media nowadays, and that includes sports media. I mean, geez, don't get me started in the political media. We're not going to go down that road, but it's like you said, Nate, it's about dollars. It's one of my favorite sayings is it doesn't make sense. It makes dollars. And that's the case with that question right there. Same reason that Bill Belichick gets asked those questions throughout the season. How many clicks can I get? What can I get out of this guy? They didn't get jack diddly poo out of Bill. I know that much. And yeah, they're rarely going to get jack diddly poo out of Andy Reid. So good on you for trying, but good on you for doing your job, I guess. But sorry, no bonus today.
Nope.
Right. And one beautiful thing, I had to bring it up, boys. We've talked about this young lady for many weeks now. Taylor Swift wins a Grammy last night. Travis is asked about it. He said, I got to bring home hardware too. We hope we'll get to our predictions, but I love how the media is just feeding the shit out of leading up to the game. But anyways, here, Patrick Mahomes was asked, does he ever think he's going to pass Brady? And also, there's a caveat to this, boys. The reporter asked him, do you guys feel that you will go back to back? And the last team to do that was the Patriots in 38-39. What do you boys think on that? Do you think he's going to pass Brady? That is very early again to even.
You're saying pass Brady as the GOAT. That's
Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl wins.
Oh, Super Bowl wins.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Nate, I'll let you go first.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's already got 2. He's been in the Super Bowl. What is it? This is 4th time in 7 seasons. I mean, it's crazy. So he's at a higher pace than Tom. So it's hard not to think that, he's got a good shot at it. It's really hard to tell. It's really, really hard to project at this point, because I think if you ask me this question in 2 weeks, I'll have a better gauge on it, because we know the outcome of that game.
Right.
We'll know the outcome of Travis, because there's speculation that he might retire after this game too.
Yeah.
There's speculation Andy Reid might retire after this game. So right now, I still think there's a very good path for him to, possibly be the greatest of all time. He's young enough. He plays a position that can play for 20-something years if you keep your body right and stay healthy enough. And he's with an organization that's given him a lot of money, and he continues to flip around his contract to try to make sure he's got a team. So, and he's going to have a lot of opportunity to build a team that he foresees himself winning with around him. And that might be picking the next coach if Andy leaves. So I don't know. I think it's an intriguing question. I think there will always be things that, Joe Montana did better than Tom, Peyton did better than Tom did better than, so-and-so.
And you can cherry pick.
Yeah, you can cherry pick it. But Yeah, obviously Super Bowls is one of the biggest measuring sticks, unfortunately, because there's been a lot of good quarterbacks that didn't win one, and it's unfortunate that it tarnishes their legacy some. But yeah, I think Mahomes has a very good chance. I really do. But ask me in 2 weeks again, and I think I might have a different answer. I think he's got a very good chance. So we'll see. I'll just leave it there.
I have two concerns with him even reaching Brady, let alone surpassing him in Super Bowl wins. My first concern is how much he runs and how is that going to affect his durability. All it takes is one wallop. That's all it took for Drew Bledsoe's career to go upside down, and it started Tom Brady's. We all know that very well. Thanks, Mo Lewis. And my second concern, in kind of tandem with that, is his longevity. Very few quarterbacks last until their age 44 season? 45 season. The only other one that I can think of, and he's far less in the GOAT conversation than anyone that we've mentioned so far on this program, was Steve DeBerg, who I believe started a game at age 46. You can fact check me on that. I don't have that right in front of me, but I think he started a game at 46. And in tandem with those concerns that you said, Nate, is Reed going to retire? Is Kelsey going to retire? Is he going to have the same team going forward? Are we going to hit a lull period for the Kansas City Chiefs? Are they going to hit a similar run to where the Patriots made the Super Bowl, 3 or 4 times in 10 years and didn't win it at all? Or made it twice and made several AFC championship games. And ended up not winning one for a little while there before, again, they got one against Seattle. But, yeah, I don't know. Can he do it? Absolutely. At this breakneck pace? Yeah, but as we know, this team is vastly different without 87.
Yep.
This team is vastly different without the current all-time receptions leader in playoff history.
Right.
We've seen the offense without Kelsey, and we've seen it suffer big time. What's it going to be like when he retires? And is he going to retire this offseason, or is he going to pull what his brother pulled last season and say, let's go one more round? I know they want to retire together, but which in all likelihood means that they would go into the hall together. Quite frankly, they should. Jason Kelsey, one of the best and most consistent centers of all time. Just look at the Eagles' 4th and 1 success rate.
Right.
And then Kelsey, his accolades speak for themselves.
No doubt.
They'll likely go in together. So you never know. Never know what's going to happen here.
Right. No, and then I personally, if you're out there wondering if both Kelsey brothers are not first ballot Hall of Famers, then I don't know what game you're watching. But anyways, so another beautiful thing, and I am a big fan of this guy. I've said it multiple times over this beautiful 1.5-year span. Roger Goodell addresses the media as well in a press conference, speaking about the integrity of the game while we're in Las Vegas, the gambling hub of all gambling. Boys, I don't think he understands that there is probably some staff on some teams that are putting in some bets. I understand that there's an umbrella that he likes to put out there, but you have so many people out there saying the game's fixed, all this stuff. How do you control that? Like, he can say these words and say that it's controlled, but is it really controlled? What do you boys think on this topic here?
If I can take the lead on this one, Nate.
Yeah.
And weirdly, my accounting knowledge and my knowledge of the way internal controls work in an organization kind of come into play here.
Yeah.
So and I know the NFL, they have a lot of resources. They have a lot of people working for them, and they have a lot of people tracking this specific thing. So they probably got a lot of detective and preventative controls in place to make sure that no one's laundering money to some third party. We don't want any suspicious wires. And there's probably some reporting requirements upon these staff, too, to report not necessarily their entire financial situation, but just to make sure that they're not, again, laundering money to these third parties or, God forbid, directly to sports books or casinos to sports bet or anything like that. Right. So I would imagine that the NFL has a whole division in place just to prevent this stuff, because we've seen it protrude before. Calvin Ridley got suspended a whole year for betting, what was it, $800 on his own team, by the way. Right. Overkill, you could say that, but it sure is curtailed the occurrences of NFL personnel, players betting on games. You don't want that, especially with, and it has been disclosed, the NFL is an entertainment business. Legally, they can fix games.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, legally they can fix games. That doesn't feel right, but they can.
Right.
They can. And at what point does it become an issue of we're losing mass amounts of fans because the integrity of the game is being insulted here?
Yes.
So I imagine that's one element that is well under their control. Now, whether they have some of their own dealings with officials or anything like that, I don't know. Not there. I'm not behind closed doors.
Right.
I love watching the game, and I like to believe that there is a semblance of integrity and randomness to the game.
Right. There's
a lot of evidence otherwise, but there's more evidence toward that. So, again, that's one thing NFL has on a tight lock right now.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Trevor. There's a lot of things that they would have to get in place for them to fix the games if they do, and and like you said, they can. It would be really disheartening if they did, but I still like to believe they don't. But I'll tell you what, I sometimes get sucked into the storylines of,
oh yeah,
this seems fixed, this seems getting, this seems to be doing that. It's been, and it continues to ride because of the internet. The rise of the internet definitely makes you think that, and way more in recent years than in past years. So yeah, I think that feeds into it too. The media, there's so much out there. There's so much TV coverage of it. There's radio coverage, internet, social media, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I like to think that they don't fix it, but
yeah,
they make it tough to believe it sometimes with some of the calls that happen, some of the things that suspensions seem inconsistent sometimes. Some players get to play longer, than others, or miss less games than others. All that sort of stuff. So I like to believe no, but it's definitely something they'll try their darndest never to let anybody know, even if they did. So
oh yeah,
it definitely. I don't know. I think that certainly if the Chiefs win, I think the Chiefs winning benefits the NFL this year more than they could have ever imagined. I think there's no secret about that. I'll be kind of upset because it just makes it look even more suspicious. But I don't know. Those are the people that have to lay their head on the pillow at night, and if they fix that and do that to people that. Especially a 49ers team and other teams that I think really, really earn the right to be there and possibly win. That would be catastrophic. They would lose a ton of fandom, a lot of respect. So, yeah, I'm hopeful that doesn't happen. But even if the Chiefs do win, you still can't guarantee that it was fixed to get there, right? Because this is a team that's won it 2 other times in recent memory with a similar team. Now they won it a different way this year, but they still had a similar team, same coach, same quarterback, same
composition of players and personnel. Yeah, similar.
I don't know. We'll never know. I'm kind of glad we'll never know. If we do somehow find out, and they say that we've been rigging it for these outcomes, I'll probably never watch again. I think that'd be disgusting and wrong. Right. But they do have the right to do that, and they say they do. They can do it, but this isn't studio wrestling. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of respect for what those performers do.
Yes.
Those are scripted, and I understand they go out and perform, and they knew who was going to win, but the audience didn't. So if we find that in professional football with way more outcomes and uncontrollables, that's just crazy because they're going to way different wavelengths to script that than a wrestling match. Because sometimes some of the wrestling matches last 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So.
No,
and not to mention, Nate, those wrestling matches, a lot less people involved too.
Absolutely.
A lot less people involved, easier to control the outcome. I mean, geez, they have producers doing that for them, scripting the matches, writing the matches.
Exactly.
Hell of a lot easier. I mean, yes, we know professional wrestling's fake. I think that's not a secret at this point. But to figure out that the NFL would go to length upon length upon length to rig a game, like you said, Nate, with the element of randomness that's with all 22 people on the field, you don't know what's going to happen. Right. It's a lot of people go down that, and I go down that rabbit hole too, the conspiracy theories. I read into those a little bit too much as well. Those are very siloed.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very individual, one-track points of view. Not a whole lot of them are interlinked, and you can make this connection with this call, this connection with this. A lot of them are in silos and in vacuums. And I know people need stuff to talk about, but I like to think the NFL, no, far more likely that it's not rigged than it is rigged to the joint. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right. I think the timing, though,
I know.
Well, you're in Las Vegas. Come on, Raj. You're better than that, God damn it. Anyways, then he also talked about the quality of the field, how guys are complaining about playing on turf. And they're looking into supplementing other things, other objectives. But he's saying, and this is what I took from his press conference. I had a little snippet in the comments. If people after the show want to check that out, go ahead. But he alludes to regular grass, natural grass can't grow in a dome. Well, no shit, Roger. No shit. But you could find ways to figure out, I don't know what the hell. I'm not a farmer, so I don't really know the whole fucking side of growing grass. But lights and water, I think you're okay. But whatever.
No, you can greenhouse the shit out of it.
Right.
It's not that difficult. You just create a grass turf blend, and it's not that hard. It really is not that hard. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse for saying this, but and it's a byproduct of cutting down on hits to the head and concussions and so on and so forth. That combined with the turf, you'd have a lot less leg injuries, ACLs, MCLs, knee injuries, ankle injuries, all the rest. You'd have a lot less of those if you're not forcing guys to literally dig into this turf and then they can't move. Right. If you have some component of natural grass in that makes sense. But to say that, natural grass can't grow in a dome, you can incubate it. Seriously, you can incubate, you can greenhouse it. These teams have much more at their disposal than what they realize. Right. If you can't get a little space just to roll out a turf grass blend, what are we doing here? Are we at Bob Nutting levels of cheapness? Is that what we're at here? I don't know. I've long been an advocate for the grass turf blend. I think you get the best of both worlds with the speed of the game, and then you still hopefully cut down on some of those leg injuries that I was talking about.
Right.
But what Roger said, I don't know. I saw that little clip too, Drew, and I was like, really? You're a multi-billion, probably close to $1 trillion enterprise, global enterprise now, and you don't have the resources to make it as safe as possible, the playing surface.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, and I know viewers out there, or people that watch later on, quit picking on the Commissioner Roger Goodell. Well, let me tell you, it's $12 million. Okay, it's $12 million. That's all it would cost to fix the damn fields. Spend the money because that tells me you don't give a shit about your league. You don't care about the players. Spend the $12 million, make an investment, whatever. It's stupid.
It's not that hard.
I want to know who gave him that spiel to bullshit up on the stage because it was terrible. What else do we have here? That's all I have here, boys. I don't know who wants to go next. Trevor, Nate, it's up to you.
Yeah, I got my what's more likely,
yes.
and then we can go into pick'ems. Yeah, and then I have a few what's more likelies for the NBA side as well, so I can do that kind of in tandem with Nate, and he's going to talk about some of the all-stars that made the game and some of the replacements that are going in there as well. But all these are Super Bowl themed because obviously, not much to look forward to in the ways of football other than the Super Bowl. So I'll just kind of dive right in here. A little mix of player props, scoring, as well as some weird props surrounding the halftime show. So I'll just dive right into it here. One of the goofier ones, and it's been heavily advertised pretty much on every streaming service, every program that I've been watching over these last several weeks. What's more likely, Rob Gronkowski will make or miss the kick of destiny?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh,
I said make. I bet make.
You did say make, and we saw this last year. We thought he made it, but if you watch the replay, it just tailed off to the left, right in front of the left goalpost. And it wasn't that long of a kick. It was like a 30-yard kick, I think he tried.
I wanted them to pan all the way around because I think there was a goddamn fan in the corner that they didn't show, and that's how it shot it off course, Trevor. But that's
another one of those you can play with it. You can play with the outcome depending on how the bets go, but right. At the same time, you can bet on it because no one knows the outcome.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'll say he'll make this one. He's probably determined to make it, right? So I'll say he'll drill it. And for a guy his size to make a 30-yard field goal, I think he's athletic enough still to put it through. So I'll say he'll make it this time.
Yeah, I'm with you both. He missed it last year. You got to keep fans invested in this thing. And you don't want these John Cena commercials to go to waste either. So let's have him drill one right down the pipe. Let's give the people that bet on make some of their money. And, keep the faith in this thing and honestly keep this thing going. Keep the faith for next year because Lord knows how many times they're going to do this. Gronk, entertaining as hell, and he could probably do this for the rest of his life if he really wanted to. He can hype it up that much. So, right. But more likely to win Super Bowl MVP. Yes, I'm getting hot and heavy real quick. A quarterback, Mahomes, Purdy, or the field.
I think it's easy to me. It's quarterback league.
Fair enough.
Routinely win it. I think that there's one guy to me, non-quarterback, that's going to kick us if they don't win it, and I think you both know who it is.
Yep.
Yes,
Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
Because if he scores like 3 or 4 times, it's like, all right,
you got to give it to him.
you got to do it right. Or the only other options to me, very, very unlikely, are if Kittle or Kelsey catch 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
But they have to put up several catches and yards to go with it because you're getting a spoon-fed 3-yard touchdown grab. It doesn't necessarily mean you should be MVP to me. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the quarterback, though. I think I'm going to, but I will acknowledge that if I had to tier it, I think it's Mahomes, McCaffrey, Kelsey. That's who I would talk about. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the quarterbacks. It seems like a safer bet, quarterback league, and the way that these two are playing is steady, and I think that they're both capable of getting the rushing yards and passing touchdowns and a few passing yards to put it all together. So yeah, I'll go with the quarterbacks.
Trevor, just to throw out here,
yes,
could we see McCaffrey win it but lose the game? Because the last guy to do that, I just looked it up because I was interested there. Chuck Howley.
A long time ago. Chuck Howley, linebacker, had like 3 interceptions in a game or something.
You don't see that happen. I don't know.
No, that plain and simple. It hasn't happened in what, 50 years?
Yeah.
No.
There's a reason why. because it makes them feel worse as players, and it has a really bad connotation. It's like, bro, my team won. How
Right.
can I win most valuable player when my team won? It's a negative connotation that you're putting on a player that may have played amazing, but like, why? It's almost like a participation trophy. It's
Okay.
Jerry West did that in the NBA. He won a Finals MVP, and he was definitely the most valuable player in the finals. But it's like he didn't care about that.
Right.
He only gives a crap about that. It's really nice if they win the trophy,
Right.
you know. And the dude lost, I think, 8 finals, so he despised winning that, and I wouldn't blame him. So I hope they never do it again. I don't care if we pick off 70 passes and lose. I don't care. I don't give a crap. You didn't do it.
I don't see that happening. The most recent that I could have seen that happen was Super Bowl 51 when Brady threw for like 520 yards and however many touchdowns it was. And I forget who won MVP that time around. I think might have even been it wasn't a defensive player. I forget who it was, but if there was any time, what's that? Oh, that was Nick. Yeah, Nick Foles. Yeah, thank you. If there was any time that a losing player was going to win it, that was probably it.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, I don't see it happening, especially from a non-quarterback spot. That's it's not going to happen.
Gotcha.
Do you think Brady would have accepted it either, winning Super Bowl MVP in a long?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
And he should, and that he shouldn't. I don't think anybody should.
No.
It's silly. Everybody can still acknowledge in the NBA, you can still acknowledge the amazing series that they had. You can still acknowledge that, their team would be far worse without them, but they weren't quite valuable enough to win the whole thing. So what are we here for? You got to give to someone that help the team win. Like every time LeBron's been in the finals, he probably should have won it every single time, but they didn't win. So, give it to Iggy, give it to Duncan, give it to Kawhi Leonard, give it to whoever. So, got to win. Got to win to me.
Sorry about that, Trevor. I just had to throw that in there because I was like, shit.
Oh, no worries. No worries. So, QB or the field to win Super Bowl MVP, Drew?
If it's not, it has to be QB.
QB? Yeah. I would think so.
I hope it's, we'll get into that.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some stuff to say on that as we get into pick'ems, but yeah. Okay, so kind of a neat little prop one here, and then I got a couple more after that, actually. What's more likely, that we see either team score a touchdown on their first offensive play, or we see more than one defensive touchdown?
That's a tough one.
Remember, more than one defensive touchdown, and either team to score on their first offensive play, it's at plus 3,000. Yeah, honestly, I did not look up the defensive touchdown more than one. I don't know if there is a prop for that, but anyway.
Yeah, I would say more than one defensive touchdown. To me, the way that the Chiefs are playing, they're shelling everything in front of them. And the Chiefs' offense has not been explosive at all. So I think that it's more likely that we see 2 defensive touchdowns. They both have really stout defenses. They got people that can make it happen, getting to the quarterback, picking off passes, all kinds of things. So I'll say 2 defensive touchdowns. Purdy's not been amazingly accurate either. So
also true.
There's no factor to it. So, and unfortunately, Chiefs drop a ton of passes. So you might get a ball batted off a receiver up to the 49ers. So I'm going to say 2 defensive touchdowns, in my opinion, is more likely.
I agree, Trevor, with Nate there. One or more defensive touchdown for sure. Yeah.
We're on this trend of going 3 for 3 again. I'm with you both. It seems like we're 3 for 3 on all 3 picks so far, and apparently 4 for 4. Joe Aldridge agrees, more than one defensive touchdown. So, just makes all the sense in the world to me. This is very paced offenses. If anyone's going to maybe bust loose and get that touchdown, I'm thinking either MVS, Valdez-Scantling, or Ayuk, maybe.
Yeah.
But again, long shot, plus 3,000 total. And then for each respective team, it's plus 5,500. So I could easily see more than one defensive touchdown, though. Especially, honestly, maybe even more so from the Chiefs. They have a big play defense for sure.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of leaning into the next. What's more likely here? What's more likely? Kansas City gets 5+ sacks. Their over/under is at 2.5. Or Patrick Mahomes rushes for more yards than Isaiah Pacheco.
I'm going with the first one.
Because we know Patrick Mahomes on big downs loves to run. And San Francisco, their defense, third in the NFL against the rush.
I'll go with the latter. I think Mahomes could have more yards than Pacheco. I think it's very possible. All it takes is 2 long scrambles.
Right.
You know,
That is true.
They match everybody up, and he gets 2 long runs or a couple first down runs. They bottle up Pacheco. I really don't think the 49ers will give up 5 sacks. No way. I just don't see it. Purdy will have to be holding on to the damn ball a lot for me. I mean, they got one of the best offensive lines in the game. So this is a line that has Hall of Famers on it. Let's not get it twisted.
Yes.
If they suddenly give up 5 sacks, I doubt it's on them. I think it's probably on Purdy. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm going to go with Mahomes having more rushing yards than Pacheco, but I personally don't think either one of them will happen. But if I know that's not the name of the game. So more likely, probably Mahomes with more rushing yards than Pacheco, especially with McKinnon possibly coming back, taking touches away. They have Edwards playing there, and they have a plethora of guys that can be dynamic if they catch the damn ball. So,
lest we forget, star defensive end Chris Jones, I believe, tore his ACL in last week's game, won't be available for the Super Bowl. And I think he had 2 sacks last game. One of the Chiefs' best pass rushers. So, yeah, I'm with Nate. I think the latter. Mahomes, like I said, he runs on big downs, and a lot of the times he'll break free because the defense is in man coverage and they have everybody draped, or they're just in deep zone with everything covered under the umbrella, and then Mahomes can easily escape for 15 at a clip. So, no, I'll take Mahomes rushing for more than Pacheco on that one. All right, then. I gotta give the special teamers some love here. I gotta give the field goal kickers a little bit of love. What's more likely? That we see a kicker make a 55+ yard field goal, which has never happened in Super Bowl history. I was honestly shocked to figure that one out. Or we see a designed fake field goal or punt.
I'm gonna have to. I see Harrison Butker making a 55+ all day. But then on the other hand, I don't mean it. But on the other hand, you got Andy Reid over there, mastermind. Hey, we're gonna do this shit. He does. God, yeah, but I'm going with Butker though, 55+.
Yeah, I'd go with that too. I'm with you. Butker's he's had an amazing year. Moody, I think can make kicks from 55 yards as well. More likely than not, they're not going to kick that far with him. But I think that that place it's a dome, right? Legion Stadium's a dome.
Yes, yeah,
that helps him as well. So I think that's more likely because you got one kicker who I think has the leg. The dome helps, and he might be able to squeak one in. And then you got Butker, who's hit from that range before. So I'm going to go that as well. But one thing I wanted to bring up, I don't think it's Chris Jones that tore his ACL. Isn't it Charles Amenu, who underwent surgery on Tuesday? He's going to miss the game, not Chris Jones, right?
I believe Chris Jones is out.
Is Chris Jones out too?
Oh, shit. Well, I'll tell you right now, that's going to affect
I don't think it is. I think it's Amenu.
Oh, you could be right.
Because
You could be right.
I was like,
Yeah, I'll fact check that when you're going through your.
yeah.
Yeah.
seeing
Okay.
this
Yeah,
too.
I'll have to find that. My apologies if I misquoted myself there.
It's all good.
He has a quad injury for sure that I'm seeing your name.
I wanted to let people know because it's like
Quad injury. Yeah.
they could listen to that and be like, well, that changes my whole pick and stuff.
Fair enough.
Well, see now to Trevor's defense though, a quad are they just calling it a quad, but it's really ace. See,
I don't know.
You never know what these motherfuckers do.
They're not allowed to lie about that.
Oh, you're right.
No, yeah, there's rules against that.
The Chiefs got in trouble for that, and they were questioned about Kadarius Toney with it too. So
that's what it was.
Yep. All sorts of things they have to comply with, and I believe there was other teams that got in trouble for it earlier in the year for filing late, wrongfully filing, all kinds of stuff. So unless you want to lose six figures, you don't do that stuff, and especially the Super Bowl, you might lose a couple mil with some of that crap.
Right. Well, I'll tell you right now, even him being a little banged up, I'm not okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nate, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nate.
So.
Okay. No, you are right. You are right. It is Aminu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's still a major role player.
Jones got hurt too. I thought I heard he got hurt. I don't know.
That's all right. I don't know.
I could be wrong. I'll have to verify that once Nate's kind of going through his stuff. I'll clarify that at the end of the show for everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, Nate, you said 55 plus yarder. Drew, you said 55 plus yarder as well. I'm gonna go with a design fake punt. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a design fake punt. I could see Andy Reid pulling a rabbit out of his hat in one of the biggest games. And one of the games where he's going to have to outcoach Kyle Shanahan, which he is fully capable of doing. I have no doubt about that. But I could see him throwing a little wrinkle in to throw Shanahan off his game, or I could see San Francisco doing it as well. They've been a second half team that's needed a spark to win these last couple of games to even get into the Super Bowl. So maybe even out of desperation, I could see them doing that in the right spot. If you got the ball at midfield, it's like 4th and 2. 4th and 3, line up to punt, but then you go. I could see that happening. 55 plus yarder, rare in and of itself. Never happened in the Super Bowl, and you'll like this one, Steve. You'll like this one, Drew. Yeah. Steve Christie for the Bills in Super Bowl 28 nailed a 54-yarder against the Dallas Cowboys. That's the longest field goal in Super Bowl history. No, I'll say a designed fake kick of some sort.
If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Andy. Because I'll tell you right now,
I would think so. I would think it would be. But the only situation I could see Shanahan doing it is out of desperation.
But you got to look at it too for the viewers out there. You're looking at two different style of coaching here. You got Shanahan. I feel he's more conservative. Andy, he's kind of like, all right, we're just going to put some shit on a piece of paper and we're going to see if it works.
Shanahan very plays the analytics, plays the strategy. Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, Andy gets plays from the janitor and scores them in the game, and then Shanahan is a mastermind. All he does is just look at matchups all day. Where can we get a matchup here? Where can we get a crosser here? Where can we get a pick here? Who can we put here? Who can we put there? How can we cross these routes? How can we get Christian the ball in space in the bottle? And so I mean, I think both of those guys truly are capable of designing something, especially with 2 weeks to prepare. Preparedness is Kyle Shanahan's thing. Give him time to prepare. He's freaking tough to beat for sure. Andy's so instinct. Like, he's just got great instincts and a great feel for what needs to be happening, what needs to be called. Shanahan is prepared, and that's why that
always
is, even if they're down to halftime and it's within reach, it's like, all right, give him some time to calculate it, talk to his people, what they're all seeing, and the light bulb will go off and he'll have something ready. Case in point, NFC Championship game.
There you go. There you go. And to clarify the Chris Jones thing, I looked it up while you were talking, Nate. Quad injury. He was a limited practice participant last Thursday and Friday, so he could very well still play in the game. So do keep an eye on that if you're looking to bet on the game, especially on sack props for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm a bet that he's out there. He's not missing out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So what's more likely? Kelsey gets higher receiving yards or Brandon Ayuk gets higher receiving yards in this game? Kelsey's over-under currently sits 71.5 yards. Ayuk 63.5. That's coming from FanDuel, by the way.
Again, we'll wait till Sunday afternoon. I'm going over on that. I'm going to tell you, I think the Chiefs are going to lock his ass down. Kelsey's taking it. He's going to have higher.
Kelsey?
Yeah.
They're going to feed his ass because if this is it, baby, it's going to be like Kobe in his last game. They're just going to keep throwing it to him.
Yeah. Those are going to be look, if you're a football purist, you're going to love those matchups.
Yeah.
You know, those Chiefs secondary on Ayuk and Debo.
Oh, hell yeah.
That middle linebacking core that's so good. Greenlaw and Fred Warner from San Fran matching up with Kelsey mostly. I mean, that's the game. I think that might be the game right there. So I think Travis is going to get more targets. I really do. He's been feeling it. Mahomes and him's connections. I mean, it didn't look amazing this year, but it's still one of the best in the history of the league. So I'm going to go that, especially because there's so many weapons on the 49ers. And I truly think their path to victory is just mash the thing.
Yep.
And I know that they don't, the Chiefs don't give up getting mashed, but look at what they've been trying to give teams, and they just aren't taking it. Just chunk it, mash it. Get cute. Just chunk it down the field. Take him off the field. Take Mahomes off. Get him out of his rhythm the best that you can.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go Kelsey though. Still, I'm gonna go Kelsey. I think he's gonna get spoon fed like DB said.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be tough to guard him, and Ayuk, too many other weapons with him.
That is true too.
I'm talking about 10, 11 targets.
Yeah, you got 11 targets last game. I think you caught all of them, right?
Caught them all. Caught them all.
So,
yeah, all day.
Yeah. Kelsey definitely has the easier path. That's why I'll take him in that regard. Ayuk, more of a big play receiver, so if you hit a big play with Ayuk, sure. But like you said, Nate, I see them dinking and dunking it down the field. Maybe you get McCaffrey the ball in the passing game. Debo, obviously good out of the backfield and in the short passing game, stretching the field. Kittle can run over anybody in the open field. He can stiff arm anybody. He can just throw a shoulder into some guys. So I think they got a lot more options for what they're going to have to do to win the game. So I'm going to take Travis Kelsey as well. That connection is just unreal in the playoffs. Highest touchdowns in the playoffs as a duo, Mahomes and Kelsey. Kelsey has the all-time receiving record in the playoffs. So I'll definitely say Travis Kelsey. I just was interested to see if Ayuk had any sort of shot at it, and he does if he gets a big play, but again, I don't see a whole lot of big plays. I see a lot of consistency coming out of the San Francisco offense, but not a ton of chunk plays. Maybe some timely ones, but not a ton.
Right.
So kind of an interesting one here for you guys. What's more likely to be the higher total? Christian McCaffrey touchdowns. He has 2 in each of his last 2 games. Or Isaiah Pacheco receptions. He has he's had 1 in 2 of his last 3. In another game, he had 4. So he has 6 over his last 3 games.
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. That number might be equal at the end of the game.
Yeah, no, I know. That's partially why I asked it.
I think it'll be McCaffrey touchdowns, and I'll tell you why. think they're going to take Pacheco out during passing to the back situations.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to try
McKinnon in there, you think?
they're going to try to throw McKinnon in there if he's able to play, and they might throw Edwards-Helaire out there. He's caught the ball a little bit more at the backfield than Pacheco, I think, has too. So,
yeah.
And McCaffrey's a touchdown freaking machine. Like, he might score 3 or 4. Truly, they get down inside the 5, or he breaks off a play, and then they get outside the 10 a couple times. There you go. So I'm going to go McCaffrey. I'm going to go with that.
McCaffrey all day, Trevor.
McCaffrey. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Like you said, Nate, I think these two could be equal at the end. They could have 2 apiece or 1 apiece. Who knows? But I'll say McCaffrey as well. He's one of those game wreckers, and he's proven that these last couple weeks. He's been the biggest difference for that San Francisco team all season. I'll take McCaffrey. I think he scores twice, and Pacheco, again, just has the 1 reception. Because, like you said, McKinnon going to be utilized heavily in the passing game, as well as Edwards-Helaire. He's been actually running decently well in these playoffs. So I could see them getting the other backs involved more so than Pacheco, especially in the passing game. So, kind of another novelty one for you guys here. What's more likely that we see a scoregami or that someone records what's called an octopus, which is a touchdown and a 2-point conversion on the same drive? And do you guys know what a scoregami is, first of all? Drew, you look confused.
No, it's just how Doug commented. What the hell?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a messed up score.
A unique NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just there's a whole. I might throw it in the chat. John Boyce, formerly, I believe, of Sports Nation, made a video on this a while ago, detailing like every NFL score that has ever been. He put all of them on like a grid and everything, just because the scoring in the NFL is weird. And, I follow the scoregami page myself just because I'm a nerd like that. So, yeah, more likely that we see a scoregami or an octopus.
I'll say scoregami. It's there's still a lot of scores out there that have not been done. I believe there's only been like 20 octopus situations in like the history of the league or something like that. Like, there's not a lot. Like, not a lot of people like get the touchdown then get the 2 for some odd reason, I believe. So I'm gonna go with scoregami.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna go with it. I think Jalen Hurts did have an octopus in the Super Bowl last year, if I'm not mistaken. So we've seen it,
yeah.
But I think it's scoregami, because the reason I think it is because Hurts is a different animal than those 2 quarterbacks. He's more of a natural runner than those guys are. So I think like that's your most likely position to have a scoregami as a quarterback. So I think that plays into it, and I think that the way that the game could go, you could have a lot of like 2-point conversions potentially if somebody misses a field goal or a point after, or you might have some people that go for 2 and miss it and make it, in the game potentially, earlier. So like I just feel more comfortable going scoregami. I think.
I'll go scoregami as well, Trevor, because I just see the Chiefs going for 2 at some point, maybe even a couple times.
You are correct, Nate. Jalen Hurts did record an octopus last year in the Super Bowl. And I believe I bet on that to happen as well. So I actually made some money off of that. I think it was back when I had a DraftKings, I think it was at like plus 1,400 or something like that. Don't remember what FanDuel had it as for now, but I'm going to say, just because of the logistics of it, I'll say an octopus. And I'll say that because you got Kelsey and McCaffrey.
Yep.
That can easily get in the end zone and can get in the end zone multiple times a game. I think they can do it multiple times a drive. So I will take an octopus in that scenario. So I don't know how much of a fan you guys are of the halftime performer. I know, millennials are going to be in their spirit during this halftime show with Usher performing. Wouldn't have been my first choice, but, it's a choice, I guess. Probably did it about 10 years too late, but here we are. It's all good. It's all good. Saw an interesting prop on PointsBet. Over under 8.5 songs on FanDuel. So what's more likely, the over or the under on that?
Oh,
yeah, it's a weird one. I know, I know, but I figured I'd try and hype it up at least a little bit.
Fucking Doug.
that's tough.
I say under.
Under 8 songs?
Yeah.
I'm going to go over because I think they're going to have a special performer come out during it, and they might get another 1 or 2 songs. That's my thought. And for context, I don't know if you guys know, the Super Bowl performer does not get paid, and they actually pay for a lot of their costumes, dancers, sets.
Yeah.
So they take a lot of people that are past their prime of touring, past their prime of – some of them might not even be making music, very consistently anymore, if at all. And Usher's kind of, been more on the back burner in recent years, kind of into, some different ventures at this point in life. But, yeah, I mean, that's why you're never going to get someone mainstream to do it at the time, which is unfortunate because I think that, there should be a way those people get paid to do it. Like, I don't quite understand that. It's strange to me because I think that you'd have a higher quality person at the time rather than someone who, quote unquote is washed up. Usher at the moment is, not quite as relevant as he once was. They would have did, 10 years ago, like you said, Trevor, that'd have been pretty nice. Maybe even
ideal. Yeah. That would have been,
so it's just kind of a weird selection that they've been having the last few years. Like Rihanna too, if she did it, 7 to 8, 10 years before that, before last year, she'd have been the same situation as well.
I will say this about Rihanna, though. She proved why she's a bleeping queen. She did that while she was, 5-6 months pregnant?
Right.
And she killed it. Freaking killed it.
Yep. So, yeah, that's Super Bowl.
So, Nate, you got the over. Drew, you got the under. I'm going to take the over as well. I think we see over 8.5 songs. I don't know how long Usher's songs are, but I know he's pretty top heavy in terms of his hits. So I think he's going to milk those as much as possible, but still kind of shuffle through them pretty quickly as well. I don't see him taking his time with per se. So no, I'll say over 8.5 songs as well. Another Usher one, and I know I'm probably milking the whole Usher gimmick here, but what's more likely? Usher opens up with "Yeah" or any other song? And I have the odds on it too if you want to hear them.
It better be any other song. If you come out with "Yeah," then you're done because it doesn't get better than that. You're going to start it off really bad. You're not going to have the best songs at the end. I think you got to spread it out, or you got to backload it to me. But he's got to find like second or third best song to start out with, because you don't start out with something that nobody gives a crap about, then you lost him. But you also can't go out, I think, with your number one song right off the bat, or you're also going to lose them by the end. So you got to have a good balance, I think, and I think you got to backload. To the middle or to the very end. So I'm going to say he better not, and I'm going to say that he does not come out with it.
Come out, the DJ Got Us Falling in Love. I feel like that would be a really good start.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, and I think I don't know if FanDuel has it, but the odds on BetMGM, and I got this via PointsBet as well. DJ Got Us Falling in Love to be the opening song is at plus 800. I kind of like the money you could get for that, because it's a banger still, one of his probably top 3-4 songs.
Oh, yeah.
It'll get the crowd hype, and it's a fast-paced enough song to where you're going to get the crowd into it, but you're not, like you said, Nate, burning your best song right out of the gate. Right. And for the record too, is at plus 350, and that's only the third leading song to go first. Above that are My Way and OMG. And I don't even know what those songs sound like. I'm not a huge Usher fan.
No.
He's fine. I have nothing against him. I just know a couple of his songs. That's all.
Yeah. Ideally, he comes out with DJ Fallen in Love, throw some stuff in the middle, maybe have a couple special guest appearances, and then end it with I think that was all I had for the Super Bowl. I have a few NBA ones to go through once Nate kind of goes through all-star picks, but I believe we want to slide right into pick 'em, right, Drew?
Let's just get into it here, boys. All right, we got the old San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs matchup here in the beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. The line is favored towards the 49ers. The spread's 2.5, and over and under is 47.5. I'll be quite honest with you. This is where I'm caught, people. Okay, so if the 49ers win, they tie the Steelers, 6 Super Bowl wins, and we might see a proposal from Travis Kelce to Taylor Swift. So it's very hard here. It's a very hard. I'm going to go 49ers. They're the better team. And you got Christian McCaffrey scoring 2 goddamn touchdowns. There's 14 points. Potentially 21 points if he gets a third. I'm going 49ers. And we'll take the spread at 2.5.
Yeah, I switched up on the 49ers in months. I'm not about to do it now. And that's certainly my heart and mind speaking too, because
Yes.
You're going to have to get the barf bags ready if I have to deal with the Chiefs winning another Super Bowl, especially with the circumstances rolling around with it. And I'm going to say this. I will always acknowledge this. It is not Taylor Swift's fault that this happens.
Yes.
I will never get that twisted. I'm not a huge fan of her. Like, I respect her, like her game, her talent, like her accomplishment. Absolutely. I just am not a Swiftie, and I don't get wrapped up into it. And there could not be a worse team right now that she gets wrapped into. It just sucks. It just sucks. Yeah. If she was wrapped up in another team, to me, I think I would be able to stomach it more. It's just the fact that I'm not a Kelce fan. I'm not the biggest Mahomes fan. I can't stand the Chiefs, possibly having this dynasty right after the Patriots in the AFC and also the whole league. So I'm so hopeful that I don't have to get the barf bag ready and start puking, because I don't know if I could do it. I Swift, 2023 was your year, girlfriend. I hope 2024 is off to a good start, but I hope this just knocks the whole kingdom down a peg. Like, I hope this is maybe the falling of an empire. I'm sorry, I'm sick of them. They've won their time, and the 49ers have been so dang close for a while. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. They own one from a few years ago in the Super Bowl as well. So I'm going with them. I haven't switched up. I'm not about to now. And my bias is going to come into play, and I fully admit it. So I'm going to say it that I just want them to win much more than I want the Chiefs. I'll tell you that.
Question for you guys, and you might know this, you might not. What is Taylor Swift's lucky number?
22.
No.
No, I don't know.
13.
Yeah.
13.
13. Super Bowl 58. What's 5 plus 8? 13.
Right.
She has a concert in Japan the night before the Super Bowl, or I believe it's on, Saturday, Japan time. What's the time difference between Japan and Las Vegas?
13 hours.
13 hours. The Super Bowl is on 2/11. What's 2 plus 11?
13.
13.
God damn it.
13.
No.
If you're a fan of Ouija boards, you are spinning in your seat right now.
Yeah.
Because it could be because of Taylor Swift and her luck and whatever power she's bringing to the Chiefs, that the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. It could be. But if y'all have noticed, I've been drinking my beverage out of a red Solo cup.
Oh, yes.
In honor of a fallen patriot by the name of Toby Keith.
Yes.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
And to paraphrase Toby Keith's song, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, San Francisco is going to put a boot in Kansas City's ass and win Super Bowl 58 in Brock Purdy's coming out party.
America's favorite
Niners all the way.
Yes.
I won't say Niners by a million, but I will say Niners. They're going to get it done, brother. They're going to get it done, brother.
Wow.
Christian McCaffrey's going to run all over the field. Brock Purdy is going to prove any doubters that he has remaining wrong. Kyle Shanahan is going to get a ring. It's going to be great. George Kittle's going to be up on the stage saying, if you smell what the Kittle is cooking, and the Kittle is cooking a Super Bowl win for the Niners.
Oh.
Dude, I hope you are right.
Wow.
Get the brick wall built because I'm running through it right now.
Hell yeah.
I got fucking goosebumps over here. God
I'm ready.
damn it.
I'm ready.
Whoa.
I got myself fired up over there. I got myself, the goosebumps are going through the sunburn right now. My sunburn's starting to peel. I'm loving it.
But just some bets just to throw out there. Edwards-Helaire, I really do see scoring a touchdown here. I feel like that's a sleeper anytime touchdown score.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's looking to throw that, he's plus 550. Lines could change. But again, cannot stress to everybody out there, don't bet until Sunday afternoon. I believe the game's at 6:30. So what the hell's the rush? Wait till 5:30. Don't rush it.
Yes,
Right.
wait for the injuries to commence. Wait for another member of the Mahomes family to get in legal trouble. Wait for George Kittle to down a few beverages the night before and come stumbling into the game. Wait for shit to go down before you bet on these games. Sorry to interrupt you, Drew. I fired myself up over here. The adrenaline
I'll tell
is
you right
up.
now. You can't tell me there's not boys going to be at those slots Saturday night, not playing a little blackjack. Come on now. Let's.
No, it's Vegas, baby.
They're going to be out there,
Vegas.
baby.
Yeah, some people might get innocent trying.
We might see another hangover kind of story going on there. Them trying to find Kelsey. Hopefully they can find him by game time. You got to fight for the right to party. Well, he's going to put his name with that fucking song forever after this Vegas trip. I'll tell you that. It's a business trip, but boys need to be boys, and it's a Saturday night. Saturdays are for the boys. Nate, Trevor, whoever wants to go next here.
I just want to talk quickly about the full NBA All-Star crew that came out here. So we knew the starters from last week. Just to go through them again, go through the Western Conference. Starters with Captain LeBron James, starting Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Nikola Jokic starting. And then the elected captain for the East, Giannis Antetokounmpo, paired with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum. Unfortunately, Embiid got hurt, tore his meniscus again. Poor guy. Just
month or two, he's going to be out. I just got the notification yesterday.
Sorry, Trevor. God damn it.
This poor guy.
It's okay. Man. We have depth now, sort of, to maybe work through it. We'll see. As long as we stay out of that freaking play-in spot, I'm okay.
Yep. So luckily they're out to a pretty good start to the year, so they might be able to piece it together. And Nick Nurse is a great coach, so I think that he'll have them doing just fine. So, so going back to the West, here are the other not starters, reserves: Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Karl Anthony Towns. So those were the other players. I mean, goodness gracious. No Domantas Sabonis, who's fifth in MVP voting. No De'Aaron Fox, who was an All-Star last year. It's just so hard to make a damn All-Star team these days, man. It's just so freaking hard. We might see some guys that end up sitting or getting hurt. Hopefully not. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but it's just so tough to make this game anymore. The league is just uber talented. There's an unbelievable numbers, so many good players. So it's, this is I know that this is a lot of flopping and a lot of, stuff that goes on, but this is a golden age of offense in the NBA. These guys are so tall, so skilled, so fast. It's just truly unbelievable what they can do out there. So to go to the East, the guys who made it as reserves, Bam Adebayo, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, and Julius Randle. However, there were also some injuries on the Eastern Conference reserve, which opened up for Paulo Banchero, Scotty Barnes, and Trae Young. And I was speaking to these guys earlier saying, this is honestly a travesty that Trae Young was not voted in on the initial voting 2 years in a row. This guy has averaged 27 and 10 plus each of the last 2 years and not got voted in to the All-Star game, only this time via injury.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you how the stats are not working out. Like Domantas Sabonis, fifth in the MVP voting, not an All-Star.
If I can interrupt here real quick, Nate, on Trae Young, remember what people were saying about him coming out of Oklahoma? That he screamed bust, right? He ain't no bust, I can tell you that.
He is not a bust.
I can tell you that.
He's small, but he is relentless. He is
5 feet 10 inches of 3-point shooting and fury.
Yeah.
I swear.
He's tough, man. He's a great player. So good for him that he got selected. Another snub, I personally think you could argue it. Rudy Gobert. And he had a comment. Yeah. I'm not going to care about All-Star game appearances and selections when I'm at my Hall of Fame speech. And it's like, okay, Rudy, like you might make it, but I don't know, man. Like you're going to be close, I think. You got to win some championships for sure. You haven't won jack squat. So they take that into consideration. One thing that I think is important to note about the Hall of Fame before I kind of kick it back over to you, Trevor, for more likely in terms of NBA.
Sure. Yeah.
They also account for players, not just playing career in the pros. They take it internationally, college, and also sometimes they look at the high school impact that some of these players have had because and beyond, sometimes they look at what the impact that they've had as announcers, executives, coaches and stuff after the fact, if they weren't that good of a player or whatever into effect. So it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, not Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, not MLB Hall. You know what I mean? It's a different process. So which I personally like because there's sometimes guys that can put up numbers after numbers after numbers, and they might go to the pros and not quite put up the numbers. But the overall balance that they were able to provide in their whole career is impressive. So, for example,
in the same vein, Nate, you got guys like Ty Lue that, good player, sure, didn't put up Hall of Fame numbers there. And I'm not saying Ty Lue is going to make the Hall of Fame, but what he's contributed as a coach is far beyond what any of us expected. So,
right. And he was a good college player, and he was a good pro. So maybe one day the guy is going to get a call, when he's probably in his 70s or 80s when he's done coaching. But he'll have a chance if he continues to coach the way he is. He's done quite well, helped bring Cleveland a championship, has the Clippers playing insane basketball right now as well. So
it's making me sick, but yes, they are.
Yeah, it makes me sick too as a Lakers fan. But one final point, like to your point, Doug McDermott is someone that comes to mind for me.
Yes.
He's one of the highest scoring players in the history of college basketball. And he was a state champion in high school alongside high school teammate Harrison Barnes. They won a state championship in the state of Iowa, I believe. And, one of the best college players ever. And he's going to play. He's played in the league for, a decade, and he's still got more left in the tank. Granted, he hasn't put up amazing stats or anything, but I think that he's someone that is probably going to coach or be around the game in some capacity after it. That, like, I hope that they'll look at his whole thing someday in the future, not first ballot or even close, but longevity. Like, they look back and go, man, Doug McDermott could fill it up in college. He adjusted his game and had a nice, decade, 12, 14-year career in the pros, and then did whatever else with the game after. So, like, that's someone that comes to mind for me that, that college run is, and, the impact he had in high school, winning a state championship, playing on the top couple team in the country in Iowa had. So that's someone that comes to mind for me that, down the road, the longevity should get him in one day. So yeah, no, back over to you for more likely, because we got it kicked off with NBA now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kind of shifting back into what's kind of become my segment here. What's more likely? NBA version. Who's more likely to come out of the West? And I'm not saying either of these teams are the favorite or even the betting favorite right now, but who's more likely to come out of the West? The Clippers or the Thunder? Both playing very good ball right now. Obviously, with the Clippers, you got a few more veterans with some playoff experience. But with the Thunder, you got a red-hot team who I believe is first in the West right now.
Yeah.
Plus, they still got some draft capital left on the back end if they really want to beef up their squad some more. So, but who's more likely to come out of the West this year, Clippers or Thunder?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Clippers. I think they're so good right now. And Thunder are so young. They don't have a ton of experience. They're going to be even better in the next couple of years. They might go they might go get a superstar or 2 or 3 with all these draft picks and just say, all right, we have all these guys on cheap deals that we don't need to extend for 2 to 4 years. Let's go get a superstar that's locked up that wants to leave, and let's run it for a couple of years, and then we still might have draft picks left, and if it doesn't work out, to replace those veterans and some of the young guys that might move on that don't get contracts. So I think it's the Clippers' time. This is it. I think this is their shot. Like they're not getting any younger. They got a ton of experience. They got depth now that they didn't think they'd have. They got everybody's worked out that they got. It's insane. They're playing such good ball, and they've been due. They've been really good on paper for a few years. Injuries, distractions, etc. with them. So I think this is their shot. So barring injury, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Clippers, as much as I hate to say it.
And to correct myself real quick, Thunder own a share first with the Timberwolves, but both of those teams play games tonight, so that could change.
Yeah.
Anyway, Drew, Clippers or Thunder?
Going Clippers all the way, buddy. I hate it, but God damn it. They just have too much experience. And Thunder, they'll be there.
Yeah.
Just not this year.
Yeah. No,
Maybe
they'll be back.
Yeah.
They'll be back. They even might win a playoff series or two, but to come out of the West is a tall order. And as much as I hate to say it, because who is on that Clippers team, for me, he who shall not be named. Actually, he who shall not be named 2. There's one before him. Rhymes with Len Rimmons. I couldn't come up with anything better. That was on the spot. I couldn't.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, Clippers. They just, like you said, Nate, they have the pedigree, they have the playoff experience, they have the veterans, and they just have the chemistry right now, which is something I wouldn't think with James Harden team. So, with 3 primary ball handlers, basically, you wouldn't think you'd have this much chemistry. Historically, it hasn't worked out, but it is. It is now, and the Clippers might make some history in that regard. So,
yeah. One thing I want to switch up real quick that I said last week. You said Tim Hardaway Jr. for 6th Man of the Year.
Yeah.
That's a safe pick, but I really think in my heart that I think it should be Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. And I didn't think he'd be a guy to come off the bench and produce. Yeah. I know he's wants to be around the ball all the time, wants to fill it up, but him in that 6-man role with that second rotation, it just works.
Yep.
And it just works so well.
Yep. And Brody's playing great. He's loving life again. I'm happy for him. Just wasn't a good fit with his style, with what the Lakers system had and their coaching style and all this crap. It just didn't work out, which is fine. So I think I'm going to go with Russell Westbrook. I think that if they keep winning to the capacity that they are, it's going to be tough to not give it to him, especially with the numbers he's putting up out of that spot. He's been the most efficient he's been in a few years now. So I think I'm going to go with him. I think he deserves it, especially if he continues to play the way he is.
Cool. Yeah, all on the Clippers there, unfortunately. But, whatever. Anyway, Nate, you were talking about All-Stars earlier and you mentioned a few of the front runners for All-Star Game MVPs. So I will give you guys the floor with this one. Who is more likely to be All-Star Game MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo or the field?
I'm going to go the field.
Field. Okay.
Yeah, I have someone I really think who will win it. I think Stephen Curry's going to win it.
Oh,
Ooh, okay.
That'd be my pick.
I like that.
Dude's been
that.
crazy. He's been on a hot streak. He's probably pissed that he didn't get picked as a starter. If he hits a bunch of shots, I mean, there you go. That's all it takes for him. He doesn't have to do anything fancy except knock down shots, and he can get hot like that. He can drop 50 or 60 in that game pretty easily. So I'm going to go with that. That'd be my pick if I had to pick somebody. So yeah, I think it'll be him. Probably one of the oldest All-Star Game MVPs of all time. I think he'd be
up there.
That'd be my pick. But yeah, I think it'll be the field. There's too many other guys that can do so many things. So I'd pick the field.
I'm going to go field too, Trevor. Yeah, but I'm going to make it clear to everybody. I don't watch the All-Star Game because I can't stand no goddamn.
That's totally fair. I mean, I'll usually just have it on in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking early 2000s, 90s or 80s. Yeah. It is what it is. So I get it. No one wants to get hurt. It's fucking awesome to watch, but yeah, I want defense.
Drew, you're talking the golden era of the dunk and 3-point contests there too.
Vince Carter, dude.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff. I mean, geez, even leading all the way to Aaron Gordon and Blake Griffin, I guess, in the early 2010s.
Oh,
so
Dwight Howard too.
Dwight Howard. Yep. No, good times. Yeah. I will take Giannis. I think he's just too dominant, and not a whole lot of people want to get hurt in the All-Star game, so I think they're just gonna, make like SpongeBob and let him have it. So, yeah. But I do like that Steph Curry take, Nate. He's going off at plus 1,600 right now for All-Star Game MVP. He's right down there, actually, below Therese Halliburton and right in line with Luka Doncic. So,
wow,
you're getting a lot of good. You could get some good money on plus 1,600 for Steph Curry, and then right below him, another guy that's reinvigorated his career, and one of the more surprising free agent signings that worked out over these last several years, Jalen Brunson, going off at plus 2,500. So
that dude has been on fire. The Knicks are one of the hottest.
Ridiculous.
And the thing about Brunson is he's weird because he reminds me of European point guard, but because he plays at his speed, spots, but he's so good at it, and he plays on the perfect team that likes to play at a certain pace and play defense in a certain way that allows him to do that sort of stuff. So yeah, he's like, it's a Thibodeau team. He's kind of like a Derrick Rose. He plays a different game than Derrick Rose, but he is like their Derrick Rose to me because he just can a little bit better shooter, but he, is like a, 15-year flashback of their 15-year progression of what Derrick Rose could have become in today's game to me. That's what his role is on that team with Thibodeau.
And I'll say this too, they're getting a team together that's perfect for Thibodeau, and they're looking primed to make a run. A lot of people are picking them to maybe make a conference finals. Yep. Which hasn't happened in quite a while. I'll just say that much.
Hasn't happened since, I believe, 1999 when they
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, they were an 8 seed in 1999, lockout year. They got all the way to the finals with Allen Houston going off. Patrick Ewing unfortunately got hurt and didn't play the whole finals, and then they got smoked in the finals by the Spurs, and Kerr won his 5th title in a row, or 4th title in a row.
Right, yeah, the 3 with the Bulls, then the one with San Antonio right the year after that.
Yeah.
No, that Knicks team, good for them. I'm very happy for them. They're even above my Sixers right now. They're primed in that 4 spot. And I'll tell you, talking to my Uncle Steve, he's one of the happiest times for him in the last 20 years as a Knicks fan. So very happy for him.
Right.
But anyway, moving on with the segment here. What's more likely? And I think this one's a little bit easier. And yes, I'm stroking my own ego with this one. Most improved player this season, Tyrese Maxey or the field?
Yeah, I'm with the Tyrese Maxey's take. I mean,
Yep.
they had to believe in him because they're like, all right, well,
Yes.
you have to do this or we're not going to win. And he pretty much said, all right. And he's a great defender. He continues to get better on that end. And, he's scoring at will. He's getting people involved. He's really growing into the role that they hoped that he could be, maybe even more, honestly. So as long as the dude stays healthy, to me, he's very, very improved and should be, probably receiving that award at the end of the year if he continues to play. And I'll tell you what, they're going to need him because with Embiid out 1 to 2 months, he's going to have to step up and continue to. And he's already done so. I think he had 51 points the other night in one of the first games that Embiid missed. So he's going to have every opportunity in the world to continue to raise some of those statistics up to win that award too. So I'm with you. I like Maxey in that, when hoisting that trophy at the end.
Trevor, I agree. Maxey all the way. And how we all know this guy, Nate Sestina, played at Kentucky with him. He said he's one of the best athletes he's ever played with. So,
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple Sixers games. Guy's lights out. He does not take breaks. He is all gas.
Mm-hmm. He embodies this show very well.
Yes,
You'd say that. Yeah, all gas, no breaks, and that guy doesn't take many breaks.
No,
but like Nate said, just to put some statistics behind it, averaging 26 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists so far this season. A little bit down on the shooting percentage from 3 at 38%. I believe he shot around 40% last year, but still, he's become more of a volume guy when they needed him to be, and he's really taken the reins as that second option behind Embiid at the perfect time, at the time that we most needed him to, and what turned out to be the perfect time for the 76ers. He's always been my guy. As soon as they drafted him, I'm like, yes, this guy is going to be good. He's got all the intangibles. He's got the work ethic. Just got to work on the shooting. Got to work on the driving. Got to work on the aggressiveness. He's done that, and he's a star, and he's an all-star now. So
yeah,
got to give it to him.
Just to talk about the field real quickly.
Sure.
There's some really good players that have had some really good years. I think the only guy to me, there's two I personally think that have any shot to possibly also win. Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, he's just going off this year. The thing though is he's missed some games, so who knows what ends up happening with that. Potentially,
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's eligible with the amount of games that he's missed.
Yeah, I think he still
I could
is.
be wrong.
He still is, but I think he's missed a good bit. So if he misses a few, there's a good chance that doesn't happen for him.
I was going to say, Nate, he's I hate to say it, he's not even showing up in the top. I believe it's top 10 here on FanDuel, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, but no, to me, he still has a shot, but I don't think he's going to get it. I know that another person who has really improved is Scotty Barnes, and he's another all-star star, really good this year. Someone that, was kind of disappointed that he didn't get a nod, but I think it's because his team's not very good. So it's kind of unfortunate that he's
the way it goes, unfortunately. Yeah.
And the other guy that is with Oklahoma City, Jalen Williams. He's so steady. He's very, very good. And of course he's like their third or fourth best player, but he continues to improve. He's definitely, to me, not winning the award this year, I don't believe, but I think he's someone that could win it in the future. I think he's got that potential in him, and he's only in year 2. So this guy is going to grow into this role. I think he's only like maybe 22 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a problem. One of the starters for the Thunder, and I think can only get better quickly here. So he's another one.
Gotcha. Taking it out with a banger here and referencing another Sixer by coincidence here. been two such games where guys have scored 70-plus points this season, and there's been several 60-point games. And those two 70-point games happened within the same week. Scoring is up. It's only probably going to go up as we go into the future here. So what's more likely? Wilt's 100-point single-game record stands until the sun burns out, or it gets broken within the next 10 years?
I think it could get broken within the next 10 years to me. There's such bad defense in, late December through till the All-Star break to me that's when those games happen.
Yes.
Back-to-backs, there's some, fatigue going on, some injuries have happened. And then especially with this 3-point line and some of the foul calls that favor the players today, I think it's a good shot, like seriously, we've seen players just hit threes like crazy to kind of get there, go to the line a bunch to get a bunch of freebies. Harden's had a bunch of games like that. Curry's had a bunch of games like that. Dame had a game like that. Booker's had games like that. Doncic, Embiid had a game that he just dominated physically the whole time. So Giannis has had physical games where he just dominated the whole time. But I think that there's a very good chance in the next 10 years it's going to be very close. And Damian Lillard spoken on this before. He scored 70, I believe, with the Blazers before. Might have been last year or 2 years ago. And he's like, dude, I could have got to 100. I just missed easy shots. I was wide open. I missed a bunch of wide open threes and a couple free throws. And if people play the game, he's like, if people play in the tight game and they hit all those shots, and sometimes even if they have an overtime period, and they might get there. So
it helps it too. Yeah,
I'm with him, and he knows the tempo, he knows the skills, he knows the lack of defense. So I think he's right. I think we have to listen to him in that regard. He knows the game. He's been around it for a long time in the league. So I think that it's going to get broken in the next 10 years. I feel pretty confident that that's one that can go down, and it's one that seemed, that'll never get touched, but I think it will. And now that Kareem's record has fallen, some of these other ones I think could as well, except for John Stockton's ones. I don't think those are getting touched. Those are
yeah.
No.
I'm in agreement there. Those are going to be tough.
Yeah.
Just because the guy played every time and was never injured.
and he freaking stole the ball at an immaculate rate, and he passed it to a scorer at an immaculate. It's just like this dude just played every game, played 30 or played like 42 minutes every game, didn't miss free. Like, he just did everything so efficiently, and he played for so long. It's like, I just don't see it. The point guards have to score too much now. They have to.
That is true. That's true.
Yeah. Well, I never thought Kareem was going to get beaten. I thought, holy shit, if Kobe can't do it, Michael fucking LeBron comes around. Not a LeBron fan, but it is what it is. He comes around and beats it. I don't know about that 100 points in a game, though. That lot to go into that.
Yeah.
But the way threes are shot nowadays, I mean, that's what makes it so goddamn impressive. Back then, no 3-point line. I know I know they like to put the caveat, well, Wilt was facing plumbers and carpenters and shit. Now, you still got to put the ball in the hoop, though, all right?
Yeah. And, he's 1.5 foot taller than everyone else on the court, whatever.
I agree with Nate's point, but I don't know if it'll ever get broken. I really don't.
Wow.
I don't know if they'll allow it to. That's another, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean,
there's a lot of factors that have to go.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Sometimes people slow up on those records out of respect.
Right.
Thought with the Dolphins.
Either that, or they're up by so much in the game that they just take them out, put the reserves in, and then they're only playing for like a couple minutes in the fourth quarter, and you could have a situation like that as well. But go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, that happened with Klay Thompson. I think he had 60 points in 3 quarters or something like that, or 50 something in 3 quarters. Was that his 37-point quarter game? It might have been, but he used to be able to put up points in a hurry. So, and I think he sat in the quarter and they were up like They're up 30 something points, and he probably could have ended up with 80 to 90 points if he would have kept shooting. He was hitting.
Yeah.
He was just in a zone that was almost like unheard of for anybody. So
I tell you, I don't know if they track points per dribble, but Klay Thompson is probably pretty high up on the list of points per dribble taken. He doesn't dribble the ball a whole lot. He's a spot shooter. That's his strength. He can still handle the ball. Don't get me wrong, but I was watching that 37-point quarter video on that not too long ago. I think he took like 11 or 12 dribbles the whole time.
Yeah, he took like 11 or 12 dribbles the whole game.
Yeah.
He took like 2 dribbles that quarter. It was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
You send him off screens, he runs baseline, and there you go. And he they create for him. He's the drive and kick guy. He's a kick guy. He hits shots.
Yeah.
Off, he goes out, runs baseline. He comes up a zipper cut and he hits a shot. I mean, there you go. Like that's all it takes for him. And then free throws. There you go.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just the crazy stats from Wilt's game, though. 169, 147, they beat the Knicks when they were the Philadelphia Warriors. Yep. He made 36 field goals and 28 free throws. I don't know. That's fucking
tough. Does it have how many free throws he shot, DB?
He only missed 4.
Wow.
I was going to say, and historically, he's one of the worst free throw shooters, if not the worst of all time. He's at around a 50 clip, makes versus misses. So just to have that an anomaly of a game just at the free throw line for him, too.
But high scoring game, though, you would really need I don't know. I don't follow the games too much nowadays. Have we seen this kind of ending score, 169 to 147? I feel like
there was a game not too long ago. I can't remember who played in it. I think it was maybe the Jazz, Nate. It was like a 150 to 140 something game.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was.
I know the Pacers have played in a lot of high scoring, and I know the Hawks.
Yeah. It might have been the Pacers. Might have been Pacers. Jazz.
Yeah, and the Jazz did play in a few that were really high scoring too. They have. So
yeah.
While he's looking that up, that's the only way I see that it potentially happening. Like a very close high scoring.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Damian Lillard said, if it goes to overtime or 2 overtimes, and you got someone that is willing their team and hitting shot after shot, there's a chance. You could have a game. There's been games that have gone into 170s before with overtimes and stuff. So there's your shot. You have someone having a game and they're just they caught fire. They had 70 something going into the fourth. They get into the 80-90 range maybe, and then they have an overtime period and they hit a couple threes. There you go. It's not impossible to me anymore. It used to be so unlikely, but yeah, I don't know.
So there's been a few games where the Pacers have just absolutely lit up the scoreboard along with their counterparts. There was a game against the Bucks, ended 142 to 130 in regulation. I believe there was a game. What was it against the Hawks? They won 150 to 116. Against the Knicks, they won 140 to 126. I gotta see what they are in terms of scoring in the league, because I'm seeing a lot of triple digits and a lot of 120s for them. But to give my answer to this, I'm with Nate. I think it gets broken within 10 years. I think it could happen.
Yeah.
Well, plus you have such guys. It's a guard league. Guards are good at shooting the three. They're good at shooting free throws, and they're good at drawing fouls in today's game. So somebody like Luka, or even somebody not now James Harden, but if somebody like James Harden comes along, I could see that getting broken.
You guys know that was in Hershey?
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
I've heard that, but I didn't know for sure. That's pretty fucking cool if you ask me. Sorry, Trevor, keep going, bud. I apologize.
No, that was all I had. That was the pièce de résistance. Yeah.
That was who the hell knows? I mean, what, Michael only had 69, I think, in a game. That's a great number, but I think that's all he had.
Fantastic.
Robinson, I think 71. Booker 70. I mean, I don't know. That's
Luka 73.
73.
Yep.
Embiid, you know, I mean, it's
Yeah, Kobe had 81.
but no, that was anything else, boys?
That was all I had, buddy.
Yeah, no, great show again. Again, do not bet till Sunday. Hope everybody enjoys with family, friends. You know, maybe a little adult beverage in consumption, not ever a bad thing when you're gambling. But no,
Do so responsibly. You don't want to get too drunk to where you're making irresponsible bets.
call a ride. Call a ride.
All right, too.
Yes. But anyways, we appreciate everybody as always. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Boys come in every week with good knowledge and great conversation. It's always a pleasure to share the screen with you boys. So have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe out there. God bless. Again, this was another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. All gas, no breaks. We'll see you next week, Tuesday at 8.